Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you are good. One thing I have learned is that sometimes you have to be uncomfortable. You have to also make people uncomfortable in order for things to get right. Why am I saying this? I mean, all over the social media, people are asking Black people, what if these people like Latinos, what if they voted for Kamala Harris, but maybe the election was rigged? And I took my time to actually explain how, after the election, you remember that Black people were really crying. Black people were in tears. And also, majority of you expected it, right? That it might happen. After election, Black people were crying. Some people were rejoicing. And they were showing the flags all over, saying who they voted for. All these clips are something you can easily find. There is no need for me to prove to you. But I am 100% sure of what I am saying. Because this particular man came out here to say, yes, I actually voted for this man. But I did not expect him to be doing all these things he's doing. Because we are not criminals. Now, let me tell you something. One thing majority of you fail to understand is that you cannot stand on the street and be able to recognize who is a criminal and who is not a criminal. It's just like the way you come out. If you come out and see Black people all together, they are all Black. Some people have refused to understand this arithmetic, but it is very simple. Let's get.
Didn't think they was going to go after Cubans. We are not the bad people. I vote Trump because he wants to help the people, but this is not right.
So I think when people see Latinos voting for Trump, they see people like him, and they know that a lot of Latinos that are attending these protests aren't calling out family members like him. Latino men voted for Trump in the majority, and it's Latino men like him that showed up at the polls this last election and voted for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Nevertheless, Latinos did not vote for Donald Trump. The only Latino community that you see overwhelmingly voting for Donald Trump is the Cuban community. And even amongst Cuban voters, Kamala Harris performed better than Barack Obama performed in his first run for president. She beat him by 1 point. But amongst every other Latino community, from Puerto Ricans to Venezuelans to Mexicans, Latinos voted for Kamala Harris. When Black people are saying that they're not going to show up at these protests, they know that people like that, the man in the beginning of this video, exists, and you guys aren't calling them out. But it's starting. You're starting that conversation where you're focusing on Latino content creators that are not talking about the mass deportation. You're realizing that a lot of your favorite content creators that are Latino might have voted for Donald Trump, and you're calling them out, and that's what you should be doing. Before we talk about collective action and standing in solidarity with each other, we have to examine the problematic people within our communities that led to this asshole being elected. A lot of Latino men that are seeing Black people saying that they're going to sit this one out, that are forming their mouths to call out Black people being problematic, aren't calling out Latino men that voted for Donald Trump. And here's the thing, a lot of these Latino men that voted for Donald Trump, if they could vote for him again and Kamala Harris was running again, they would vote for Donald Trump again. I know the conversation is constantly surrounding racism and anti-Blackness, but a lot of this is plain and simple misogyny. A lot of Latino men don't feel that women are deserving of positions of power, and they believe that women should be in the house and taking care of the family. And when they see someone like a Kamala Harris that basically says, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything because I didn't have any kids, and I'm working just as hard as my husband, if not harder than my husband. That, for a lot of these Latino men, threatens them and threatens their power center or power structure that they have created within misogyny. So they see someone like Donald Trump, who they view as strong and powerful, and these are men that have consumed a healthy amount of red pill bullshit, they would still vote for Donald Trump, even at their own detriment. As Donald Trump rounds up their family members, they would still go to the polls and vote for Donald Trump, even at their own detriment. Until we are willing to have that conversation amongst ourselves, leave African Americans, Black people out of this conversation. Because, yeah, the community, a large portion, at least 40% of the Latino community help elect this man. And until you can have these conversations with your tios, your padres, your hermanos, then there's really nothing you can talk to black people, specifically African Americans, about when it comes to unity, because you want African Americans to ignore the fact that you all saw all of this. Your family members saw all of the shit that this man had in store. Actively ignore the mass deportation now signs. Actively ignore that KKK rally where the people were literally applauding Puerto Rico being called a floating island of garbage. And they still voted for him. We need to have a conversation within the community before we start lecturing people about unity. I want to address the "this is not our fight" conversation, and the reason why I'm addressing this is because I want people to really think about this when they say that this is not our fight. None of my family members can be deported. Most of my family, all of my family actually, is here legally. But one of the things that black people are not really doing is burying their head in the sand. There are black people that want to do that, but most black people still have their head on a swivel. They're just not showing up at the protests. And it's not to say that nothing is happening in black communities, because black people are still doing what they need to do, what's necessary to be done to ensure that the black people, specifically foundational black Americans, are going to be okay at the end of all of this. Because we know that if black people are okay, right? If black people are okay, everybody else will be okay. And that's what we were trying to tell people in the last election, that there was one candidate that was definitely worse. Even if you disagree with the other one, there was one candidate that was definitely worse, and then there was the other one. And the one that definitely was worse got a lot of support from the communities that are now being severely impacted by the deportations, mass deportations, when this man literally had signs and rallies. And some of your family members were holding those signs, basically saying that he was going to do mass deportations. This is our fight. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but this is our fight. I just want us to stop saying this is not our fight, because we know, black people, we know that it's not just going to stop with brown people. We know that if they are doing things to people that do have some sort of proximity to whiteness, we are going to be definitely next. They're just trying to figure out a way to get to us. They have been trying to deport black Americans since the Emancipation Proclamation. Why do you think there's a whole community in the Dominican Republic that's descended from black Americans? They're just trying to figure out a way to do it with Puerto Ricans, specifically Puerto Ricans. It's very easy for them to do that with Puerto Ricans. All they have to do is pass a law. Puerto Ricans have citizenship in the United States through the Jones Act. If they ever got enough Republicans that dislike Puerto Ricans enough, they could make it so that Puerto Ricans don't have citizenship in this country anymore. Very easily. All they have to do is pass a law that basically overturns the Jones Act. Black Americans have citizenship through the Constitution, and they could easily argue that the Constitution, specifically if they look back to the Dred Scott decision, the Constitution never intended for black Americans to be citizens of the United States. And that was the holding in the Dred Scott decision. I say all of that to say this. Yes, this is our fight. We understand that. And as I said yesterday, if the only thing you're doing is wasting your time talking at black people, you are not going to accomplish what you think you're going to accomplish. All you're going to do is just push black people to a point where they simply do not care. And that's dangerous for both you and us. Because a lot of people will do what they shouldn't do, and that's burying their head in the sand until the government comes after us. And we definitely, most certainly, shouldn't do that.
I didn't think they was going to go after Cubans. We are not the bad people. I vote Trump because he wants...
Child. So anyway, what you do today? How'd you spend your Father's Day?
I didn't think they was going to go after Cubans. We are not the bad people. I vote Trump
because you're a bigot. Because you think you're so much better than those Hispanics and Latinos, the bad ones, the Mexicans, the Venezuelans. I think you're so much better than them. So much so that you aligned yourself with Donald Little Dick Trump. And look where that got you. On the deportation list. I will vote for Donald Trump. Bet you won't fucking vote for him again. Literally. Adios.
To the Latino community, we sympathize with you and what y'all are going through right now. And I also want to especially shout out to the Latino community, the people who understand why Black people are not coming outside. I want to say thank you to y'all. And for the ones that don't understand, I'll explain it. Y'all want us to fight for you, not with you. Y'all don't like Black people until y'all need Black people to do something for y'all. Y'all would rather us come put our bodies on the front lines because y'all know they don't give a damn about taking our lives. So if we go out there on that front line and we lose our lives, it's okay as long as you get to keep yours. Also, the transactional support. Y'all like, oh, we were there for Black Lives Matter. We were there for our ancestors was there for civil rights movement. Okay, and y'all think because y'all ancestors did something or because y'all did something, we have to? That means that what y'all did was transactional, that y'all only supported us so that we can support you. You didn't support us because you wanted to. You supported us because you wanted something back. That's transactional. How about you hold your own people accountable or hold somebody else accountable? Because y'all keep saying that we are next. How about you talk to the Hispanic people who voted for him, or talk to the Asian people who voted for him, or the other communities? Because the truth of the matter is, we can't be deported. So with that being said, talk to the people that can. The people that look at y'all and say, well, we got here legally. No, they went through the same process y'all went through. Their process is just a little more easier because they appeal to them more. How about you all appeal to them? Why y'all keep trying to appeal to us? And then y'all say stuff like, don't let them divide us. Don't let them divide us. We need to stay united. Question: when have we all been united? I'll wait. And my good friend Boss Up and Get It Now had a valid question. If we do all kumbaya somehow and come together and get along and we fight for you all, right? We fight, we lose our lives, some of us survive, then what? Will you then stop saying the N-word? Will you then stop thinking, oh, Black people are lazy and they just all play the victim? Oh, all Black people are criminals. Then what? Does that change the way y'all think about us? I don't think it will. I think y'all want us to fight for you, not with you, because y'all really don't care what happened to us. Y'all just want us on the front line so they can take our lives.
And it's okay to have run out of, steam. It's okay to say, you know what, I just don't have it anymore. I need to stay home and protect my spirit, my energy, all that. But to say that Latino people don't deserve our support because of the results of the last election, which is not what Gary Chambers said, but a lot of Black people are saying that. I think that's not only short-sighted, I think it's unkind. And I think that it is inconsistent with the spirit that Black people have shown ourselves to have in this country. The fact is, if we look at the data, most Latinos voted the same way that we did. They voted against what's happening out there. Most of them voted that way.
So other cultures come to this country, and one of the first conversations that they have amongst their people is to avoid the Black people, that the Black people are violent, the Black people are problematic, stay away from the Black people. And when you get here, then you treat us just as such, that we are less than, we are beneath, or that you are better than us. All y'all cultures, all other cultures treat us that way. Name a culture, and yes, Haitians too. Yes. Africans, yes. Mexicans, yes. Latinos, yes. Asians, yes. Koreans, yes. Everybody wants to avoid Black people and paint us in a stereotypical light. Minus the ones who then gain proximity to us and see that we are compassionate, we are loving, we are family oriented, we like to have fun. But when you are not in proximity of us, you run with the stereotype that this society has painted of us. And you treat us as such. Within the Latino community, you don't like that I'm saying what I'm saying. But is it true? Is it true? Is it hard to see yourself and to face those truths now that you're in a hot seat? Is it that? Because I find it really funny how now you guys are going through what you're going through. And all this time, when anybody have made a mistake in a Dominican for Black, I'm not Black. I'm not black. Nobody wanted to be black. But y'all want to call upon us now that y'all are in this seat of fire, and y'all want us to put ourselves in harm's way. And you're going to say there's no harm as people protest. When black people gather, they get fearful because we are powerful. So yeah, we bring our asses out there and it will be met with violence. So yes, I'm telling our people who look like me, because that's the only obligation that I have, is to my people. And to unify my people, because society has kept us divided for so long. So me promoting unity amongst my people and telling us, mind your business, that don't got nothing to do with us. It is all facts and all truth. Why the heck will we come out of our safety of our homes to go out in the streets and march and protest when we know that gets nothing? It breeds no results, right? So you want us to get out and do something that we know doesn't work. Y'all watched us do it and y'all seen that it gets no results. And y'all also have seen through history how they treat melanated people. When they get out there and they start protesting, what the heck are we protesting? We are from this country. This is our country. If anything, all of y'all are illegal immigrants to us. Every race that is not an aboriginal, indigenous to this land. But right now, it just happens to be the Hispanics and the Latinos. And it's unfortunate, but it's not our fight. So me telling my people to stay their asses in the house, focusing on self, focusing on their self-love and their oneness, so that when they look at their left and their right and they see their brother or their sister that looks like them, they will treat them a little differently because of oneness. While y'all are going through what y'all are going through, y'all voted for that man. You made your bed, now lay in it. My people are going to mind our business. We're going to watch. And we're going to focus in on ourselves. This is our land. We are aboriginals to this land. We are indigenous to this land. So my promotion of melanated people's self-love and oneness is not a division. It is a oneness of us. My only obligation lies to melanated people and to women. Because first I am a woman and then I am of melanin. I'm not sure what came first, okay? The chicken or the egg. But I am both. And my only obligation is to those things. It is unfortunate that this is where you are in you all's journey. But when you came to this country and you treated us the way you treated us, and don't say that you didn't. Don't say that you didn't. You guys lynched. You guys murdered. You guys killed. You guys threw cocktails. You guys did all of these things to people who look like me. Just for moving into your communities. You treated us crazy. Just because they told you that we were something and you thought that you were better than us. So now that your ass is in the hot seat, you looking for us. Where are we? Where are we? We are where we are safe. We are safe because this is not our battle. So stop looking to black people as your scapegoat, as your savior. When it's all said and done, you're going to go and spit on us. Get the fuck out of here.
Bro, I'm looking at all these protests and it's really got me thinking, if they do a recount for the election and, you know, like we all would suspect, you know, the count's going to be off for sure. But wouldn't we have to consider that if they do that recount and it shows that Kamala won, we would have to open our minds up to the fact and consider the fact that the number of Latinos and Latinas that voted for Trump, the number of black men that voted for Trump, the number of white men that voted for Trump, and other races that voted for Trump, those numbers would be wrong. We would have to open our minds up to the fact that majority of everybody doesn't want Trump in office. But he would have had to rig it some kind of way to make it look like that. And I would say it's really easy to make it look like majority of white men want to vote for Trump. But based on what I'm seeing, I'm looking at these protests, I'm on my phone, I'm watching the news, I'm watching videos. I don't think all those white men voted for Trump. And look, I ain't never been the one to come on here and defend no white person, let alone a white man. But I'm telling y'all, if this count come back and Kamala won, we gonna have to open our minds up to the fact that it wasn't all those white folks or all those Latino folks and other races of people too. Like, we would have to open our minds up to the fact that that's not what it was. Like, and actually consider the fact that a vast majority of the world wants the world to be a better place.
This is all I got from this video. And I am going to start by saying that what Black people are saying is that they cannot be working and bamboo will be shopping. Like, I work for you and someone else is enjoying the fruit of or I work and another person is enjoying the fruit of my labor. It's not going to happen anymore. Black people are not saying that they do not deserve the help, but Black people are saying that they are tired of working and they are just going to rest. There is nothing unkind about always helping people, but said, you see, this period, I need to catch my own breath because I cannot breathe. This is easy. And some people should learn to understand that it is not every time that people will say yes to your request. See, they've been saying yes all these years. They've been agreeing to anything every other person said all these years. They've been very helpful. They've been working so hard to make sure that everybody are standing on the same floor. This is what Black people have been doing. But just once that they said, we need to catch our breath. And like, everybody is against Black people. The woman that is analyzing that maybe they voted for Kamala Harris, but just because something happened to the election result, that's why you just need to do a recount because I need to see something. How do you want to recount it? If I don't know, I understand there could be shady things that happened during the election, right? But you could see how Black people showed out, and that was how they showed out. I don't know if that does make sense. Black people absolutely showed very much out. You saw that and that was how their heart was even before the election. So you could see that maybe their votes were also lesser. Maybe their votes were also higher than that, right? But even if it was reduced to this, it means there is nothing or there was nothing they could do to change it because they all showed all out. I don't know if this does make sense because she is trying to defend them. Now, let me tell you something. If you have seen videos, you saw the election. I don't know how you saw after the election, how they all came out to say, yes, they voted for him. It is not hidden. It is not something that you and I do not know. They said that they voted for him. Black people said they voted for Kamala Harris. I mean, you could hear this discussion. I don't know if this does make sense, right? The jubilation, the celebration, and all that. You could see how each people voted. It was very obvious. I am not saying that maybe the result was not tampered. Yes, there is possibility, right? But also, what they showed us before the election, you could also see that they were not ready to. And after election, we saw videos of them. And even till now, when you ask some of them, they will tell you that, yes, maybe my uncle is deported or maybe my children are undocumented. Or they will tell you that they are undocumented, that they would vote for Trump. I don't know if you have seen all these videos. Maybe I am the one that is probably all the time on social media, right? That is saying all this, but it's something that you all could also it's so easy to find them. It's so easy to identify them. And you all saw them too. When you Black people see, you see the irony. When Black people because Black people cried so much after the election, right? And after the election, why Black people were crying? So many people were rejoicing. Did you also not see that? They were very happy. So this one also said he voted for him, but he didn't know he was going to deport, but they are not criminals. So what do you want poor me to say at this point in time? Am I making all this up? Is it me that is looking for a way to make them up? I am not making them up. These things were the things that happened. They happened, right? So trying to convince us maybe something happened. Also, this man, you heard what he said. He voted for him, but he didn't know it was good. Just like the same woman that voted that the father is sick, voted for FRK Jr., like according to her, that why she voted was because of FRK Jr.'s speech and also Donald Trump, because she felt like he was going to do something good, right? And now you hear what happened to the father. So it's so easy to understand this, and I don't want it to look like I am trying to make things up. And to Black people, I am not saying this because you are my family, right? I am saying this because I'm saying it out of experience. There is nothing wrong, right, in taking a break. There is nothing wrong in taking a step backward just to clear yourself, your thought, make space for a new growth, get yourself ready in preparation for the times ahead, wanting to stay on your own, not wanting to receive some certain kind, like, all these things are normal, all these things are okay. Do not let somebody, this is also for men, Black men and women, do not let somebody trip you or fear, trip you into thinking that you are doing the worst. You are not. You are not. If you have been burned out before, you definitely will understand what I am saying. So sometimes taking a step backward can do a whole lot. And one thing I know for sure is that a lot of people will sit up. Bye for now.